long days for me. It's a busy Saturday morning. So hi, welcome back to Real Talk Duo. I'm Kayla Shawn.
I'm Takesha Renee.
And today we are going to just get right into the topics. We're talking about social media and mental health, the double-edged sword that is our reality today. So where do you stand on social media and mental health? What are your thoughts about it? Do you think that social media has an impact on people's mental health?
I think people go to social media to vent about their mental health. I think that they just sometimes people talk about what's really going on with them, and I have friends who do that. The other day was like, I just need a prayer. But that was my mental health affecting me personally. And, I think if people weren't as judgmental, I think more people would actually talk about what's going on with them in their lives without feeling like they're going to be judged. That's why I don't talk about certain things too much anymore when it comes to my mental health issues, because people, they run their mouths, they talk crap, and I don't have that to do.
I understand. I get it. To say the least about that, I have always been somebody that has always been at the back end of the backlash. Like, I've always gotten it, no matter what I did or said. Okay. So to me, it's like, it doesn't matter to me either way. If I say something or I don't, I'm going to get backlash. So why not just share my story?
And that's true.
I feel that I feel that social media, again, is a double-edged sword. I feel like people run to it to vent for attention.
Yes.
They seek attention. They seek validation. They want that, people to come and, empathize with them, have pity on them.
Yes.
All those type of things. But I also feel like social media is a helpful tool. I feel like social media can be, and has been for a lot of people, myself included, a way to share things about themselves and to talk about the things that they've went through, to share the experiences and help encourage other people, right? So while some of the things that you go through may mentally take a toll on you,
right,
keeping them in will keep a bigger toll on you.
I agree.
And then there's some people who don't have a wide circle personally, so they use social media as a platform. And I have been that person a few times where I've had to or did use social media as a way to get things off of my chest instead of internalizing it, because before the internet and everything, I was always one that internalized things.
Yes.
I internalized everything. I let it sit. I let it fester. And then my mentals are all like, I'm stressed. I'm depressed. And once I went through my therapy, I decided no more of that. No more of that.
And I think that's an issue because people don't talk about going to therapy, or people are ashamed of going through therapy. I go through therapy. I got a therapist. I just had a conversation with her yesterday. Listen.
I had a therapist. I had the same therapist for 7 years, some time ago. Wonderful Black woman. And she really opened my eyes to a lot of things that, that I was doing to myself.
Right.
Based on, just my own insecurities.
Okay.
And then too, some of the things that I was going through with other people, I was making it my fault.
Yes. And I understand that.
And she, so listen, if anybody is out there struggling with the thought of seeking a therapist or having a therapist or seeing one, there is no shame.
Do it.
No shame. Because that is what they're there for. They're there to help you.
Right.
So I think the Black community doesn't talk enough about therapy. They at least
It's shameful.
Yeah.
It's shameful in the Black community. It's why are you putting your business out there? Why are you talking to other people about what you're going through? That you don't need to do that. Yeah, I do. I need to talk to somebody because I'm on the verge of losing myself. I believe that, it's always been a hush hush when it comes to the Black community, not putting you're putting your business out to a stranger. Yeah, but they don't necessarily know exactly who you are. They're giving me their outside opinion on the situation.
Correct. And it's not just an outside opinion, it's an expertise.
Exactly.
An expert opinion.
Exactly.
With actual ways to find solutions to these issues. So therapy is definitely something that should not be, shameful or shunned in the Black community. I am guilty of being brought up in a home where, you don't talk about things that go on in this house with nobody.
Oh.
Yeah. I grew up in
that household. What stays in this household, what goes on in this household stays in this household.
And I there's a small little section that agrees with that because you don't talk about your household business to anybody. And I'm not talking about like things that are serious. I'm talking about like, you don't talk about my mom yelled at me this morning because I didn't do that. Like or my parents were arguing. That's nobody's business.
Right.
That's nobody's business. You know what I mean? Or my wife or my husband. Like that stays in home. If you have a therapist, then that's who you talk to about that. But, like I said, there's a small modicum of belief to that. What goes on in this house stays in this house, but not if it's a serious situation, and not if it's, especially not if it's serious or something to deal with, somebody being hurt or anything like that. But, that's the type of house I grew up in. That you didn't
talk about anything that went on in this house.
You'll be all right. You get over it. Are you sure?
Because I don't think that I'm getting over this. Like, there were certain things that happened in my past that I was like, how the heck did I make it through this long? Ooh.
Well, we ain't going to talk about the things that happened in our past that, you wonder how you made it through. We'll save that for a different episode. Because I could tell y'all some stuff and you would be saying, she a liar, but I can confirm every single piece of it. And I have confirmed some of it to some people.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. Boy, if I shared, and I will at some point, but just not in this episode, some of the reasons why I sought out a therapist and why I am happy that I saw one, I'm glad that I had my therapist, and shout out to LaShawn. I thank you, girl. You don't know how much you saved my life and just how much you made me think differently. And I still apply those to my life today. I think that therapy is definitely a necessity for people. And I do think that people utilize social media as a form of therapy because a lot of people do not
know how.
Or they're just ashamed to even want to seek a therapist.
Yeah,
because of being brought up in a family where
because there are some people on my Facebook page, and I'm like, you need therapy. Do you have therapy?
There's a lot of people that I see. I'm like,
wow.
We have all. Now, if you are on social media, which you probably are if you're watching this video.
Yes.
You have seen some people or seen some posts that, you see the post. And I have been guilty of going to the comments. Let me just see what people are telling this person to do. And then you see the comments. You're like, oh, they're being so ill-advised. They are telling the wrong crowd their business. I see that so often, especially lately. I see people talking about and I get everybody is not in the same space that we're in. Everybody is not in the same mind frame. And people have difference of opinions, different thoughts and things of that nature, and people believe what they want to believe, and that is great. But some of the things that I see, I'm like, do you truly believe that, or are you just saying that for attention? Or do you believe that and you're asking for advice because you're not sure if you believe that? Like, it's just, it's really like, it makes your wheels start turning. And I'm like, I hope they have therapist friends. or they seek a therapist, because some of the statuses, I'm like, I'm not even, I'm just going to scroll. I'm going to scroll. I'll be
looking at some people's posts and be like, oh, you need a hug. But then again, though, like for me, because I am that type of person that'll reach out to you. You know, I have a friend who was going through some stuff, and I'm like, instead of me going into his comments, I inboxed it. Yo, you okay? Do you need help? What's going on? Do you need to talk? Oh, it's too much to talk about, this, that, and the third. You know, we'll sit down and we'll talk. And we sat down, we've talked, we've had conversations, and, you know, just the conversation made them feel different and better. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I'm not a therapist. Mm-hmm. So I have my opinion on things, but, you know, I honestly believe that people really need to actually go out and get therapy and not necessarily use social media on an all the time basis.
Excuse the upstairs. We're filming in my studio. My kitchen is above us, and my daughter is cleaning, so she dropped something. So moving on. So I want to segue into, first of all, let me say this. Happy International Women's Day. It is this day is already special to me because it's my Rose's birthday.
Yes.
And if you don't, it's my Rose's birthday. This day is already special to me because it's my Rose's birthday. And by my Rose, I mean my grandmother, who passed away a few years ago, and she raised me after my mom passed away. And that was my, like, even before my mom passed away, my grandmother was like my second mother.
Right.
I was her first granddaughter. I was everybody's first daughter, first granddaughter, first niece, first everything.
Right.
And I was kind of, you know, everybody fought over me, but my grandmother always won. Like, I was always with her or my great grandmother, the two of them. And, yeah, so today is her birthday, but it's also International Women's Day. So happy International Women's Day to all the women out there watching. We thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. We support you.
Amen.
And we encourage you to keep doing what it is you're doing and just enjoy your day. Don't forget, on the 10th, it's the International Women's Rest Day. Day of Rest for women, for Black women, yes. On March 10th, it's International Day of Rest for Black women. Well, for women, but for Black women. It's, you know, it's circulating around the community. So
I work that day. I won't be worse than.
Well, that's what you're supposed to take off. They're encouraging the Black and Brown community to take a day of rest. The women to take a day of rest on March 10th this year. So if you can, enjoy that day as well. So I want to go into owning your space. Okay. And how to overcome imposter syndrome. Now, do you know what imposter syndrome is?
No.
So I need for you guys, anybody who knows what imposter syndrome is, I need you to write in the comments. Just put it in there. So imposter syndrome. Okay, have you ever wanted to do something, or you thought about, like, man, I could really do that, but then when you go to do it, it's like, I'm going to be looked at like people are going to look like, who she thinks she, why is she doing that? She ain't supposed, like,
yes.
Imposter syndrome. Going to do something. So that's not the actual definition, but I'm giving an example of what it feels like or is mentally. So perfect example, when I began my influencer journey, I studied influencers, and it was crazy because I couldn't find influencers my age. The ones that I did find that were my age were, you know, really not my age. They were in their 60s. it wasn't until I began my journey that I actually found a community of African American women that were, not 20 and early 30s. They were like mid 30s, late 30s, early 40s, mid 40s, even into the 50s. Like, I didn't see that community until I began.
Okay.
But in my beginning, in studying these influencers and watching, what they did, how they did it, and things of that nature, I felt when I actually started doing it, it was like, I ain't supposed to be doing this. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't look like them. I don't, imposter syndrome. Feeling like I didn't belong to that type of, or to that influencer crowd. Or community. Okay. And I'm so glad that I let that go. Okay. I'm so glad that I did not let that stop me, because look where I am right now. Right. I'm working. I mean, granted, I'm not a big influencer yet. Let's get it But clear. I am working my way there. I do get, small brand deals. I do work with companies. I do work with small businesses. I do, get some of the perks and the recognition that, comes along with that. And I'm not saying that, that's what I do it for. It's not. I do it because I love it. But if I would have allowed the imposter syndrome to really keep me from starting, I would still be sitting back wishing, like, man, I wish I had started back when I initially did it. Like, instead of making myself, letting that syndrome kick in, like, you ain't this, you ain't that, you ain't, and it's so funny that they have a name for it now, which is imposter syndrome, because back then we just called it fear. Right. The fear of starting something new. We labeled it fear, and we labeled it procrastination, and we labeled it all kind of other things, that kept us from taking that first step. And I guess that's glad. Me in school. Huh? Me in school. Really? Yeah. I was nervous. It took me a couple years to actually get back into going back to school. I was nervous. I procrastinated. I was scared. I was, wow, I'm going back to school and I can really do this. Mm-hmm. Who said that I could do this? And then I started going back to school, and then I was like, who said I could do this? And now I'm in my second semester, and my first semester I got A's. And I was like, oh, okay, I could do this. I could do this. Maybe. Because it's definitely hard. But I guess the fear of failure kept me from doing a lot of things that I should be doing. I think that's the case for a lot of people. I think people get afraid of starting. And then I think there are some people who are actually afraid of being successful in it. Okay. And that is a real thing. I was one of those people who was afraid of being successful. And that was all rooted in losing my mom at 15. Okay. I felt I needed to stay who I was for a very long time because I had lost my mother. And I felt it was a dishonor to her for me to change. Okay. Right. And anything that I did, I knew I could do it because I'm not one of those people that begin something that I don't think I can do. But at the first sign that it gets hard, I found myself, I don't want to do this no more. I've been there. I don't want to do this no more. I think that is, like, I'm a certified life coach. But I've never pushed. Yeah, we both are. And it's funny because I think she got certified before me, and I launched my business a year after I got my certification. And I still haven't. And that is the fear of, what if I do good? What if I... You won't know unless you try. And that's my thing. And I'm like, well, what if I give them the wrong advice? But my thing is many people right now come to me with
questions, concerns.
Why not add that as a client, as an experience? So here's the thing, and my husband is the one who pretty much shaped my thinking on this. Because when I got certified, I sat on it. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. I don't even know why I did this. It was one of those things like, oh my God, I actually got certified as a life coach. But then I had an unofficial mentor that I started following on social media. And I started taking her, it wasn't classes, but she would have these meetings. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that she started to teach it, like she, find your niche. If you're a coach, you need to find your niche. You need to do this. Like she calls herself the drill sort, or I forget what she calls herself. So Dr. Sonia, wonderful woman. Like right. I would never, ever, ever, ever say anybody is my unofficial mentor, but that lady, I learned a lot from watching her, and she is amazing. And in watching her and just all the stuff that I learned from her, like I have notebooks on notebooks of the stuff that I took from right. being in her seminars. And when I was finished, my husband said, now what are you going to do? Right. And he was like, and anytime that I started talking to people, he was like, that's a client. You gave advice. That was a client. You did this. That was a client. You right. went out of town and you talked to people and you talked to them about this. That was an experience. That was a business trip. Like, I was like, okay. It right. got to the point where I was like, okay, can we slow down for a minute? Because it was right. It was, again, starting the success of it was like, I don't know if I can handle this. But he was right. And then I just became comfortable with the idea after a certain amount of time, and I lived in it. Like, it was just like, okay, I gotta own it. This is what I am. This is what I do. And this is what I can offer you if this is what you need. So mm-hmm. I started walking in that and ain't looked back. And it has, a lot is going on, but it has flourished. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it hasn't done that for me at all.
Because you won't walk in it. You gotta put that foot in front of the other one and just say, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And
here's what's crazy. I have paperwork, questionnaires. Mm-hmm. I have this. I have that. Yeah. I have like, I wrote a little journal that you can do and answer the questions and see how you feel and everything else. And I never did what I was supposed to do because I'm like, well,
what?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, what?
Exactly.
There is no well. Just do it.
Just do it. Be like Nike, just did.
That's all you have. Put that foot in front of the other and just go. So my advice or my encouragement to anyone out there who feels that way about anything that you're doing, it doesn't matter what your business is or what it is you want to do, get started. Just do it. Just do it. Get if it takes, some training, get in the class. If you know that it takes some research, get on the internet. If you know that it takes talking to people, get in the room and rub elbows with those people that you need to.
I guess that's my issue because I never go outside.
You know what? And I don't either. But what I did is I got on the internet and I started looking up, life coaches and mentors. And that's how I came across Dr. Sonia. And when I can't, I am not paid to endorse her at all. But what I can tell you is the information that I walked away with from her mm-hmm. set me up to be able to talk to people and to coach people and to be the mindset coach that I was setting out to be.
Right.
And being able to use that information to turn it into a profitable business. Because I went on a business trip months after I got done with her. Mm-hmm. And was talking to people and doing mindset shifting.
Right.
Like, amazing. Right. So, thank you, Dr. Sonia. Unofficially, just thank you so much. And officially. But yeah, it's if you know what you need, what steps you need to do, what steps you need to take, then take them. Just go for it. And I promise you won't regret it. The only regret you'll have is not doing it.
Is not doing it. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that imposter syndrome kick in, you need to get out of here. Like, you need to let that go. Just drop that like you do. Never mind. I ain't gonna say that.
I don't even know. I don't even know what you're supposed to say. No.
No, I'm not gonna say it.
She said drop it like it's hot.
No, I'm gonna say drop it like you do that nigga you did. That's why I said I digress. I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah. However.
I'm sorry, that was funny.
You know, I have to be mindful sometimes of the things I say and how I say them. Because sometimes things like to come out my mouth how my brain thinks them. And that's not always a good thing.
Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I think it is.
So last week we were talking about, last episode, which you guys are probably seeing right now. I love this recording thing. Last episode we talked about what was a true sisterhood, and I cannot wait to see what you guys leave in the comments about that, because I'm really, 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 really curious to know what you guys think about what a true sisterhood is and what is real friendship to you. Because, and it's so odd because I literally got phone calls this past week about people's friendships and relationships being tumultuous, and it's I was like, we literally just talked about this situation. So if you have a relationship, a friendship, a sister, somebody that is close to you, and you all come to a point in your relationship where things become rocky between the two of you, it is very important, especially if that relationship and those bonds mean anything to you, to work it out and talk it out. Be there for each other. Listen to understand. Don't listen to judge. Right. Listen to understand and empathize with that person, because obviously you have something in common. You're friends, and you should be able to identify and empathize with each other about what you're hurting over, what is hurting each of you, and why there is a misunderstanding or a rocky time between the two of you. It is important for those things to be worked out. Now, granted, I know there are some instances where things just cannot be worked out, but if that friendship is important to you,
right,
you work at it.
Talk. That is the biggest thing, is talk, work through it, just be able to understand and listen. That is the big key. Listen, understanding, communicate. Like, there's no getting around that. Like, I think the issue that we have is that we don't actually listen to listen. We listen to respond. And in marriages and relationships with your significant other, that's a very big issue as well. I am in no way a marriage counselor. I am in no way a relationship counselor. But I will tell you, if you know if you know my husband and I personally, you would think that we have been married for over 10 years. Lord, because they are funny. Them two, swear to God. And I was in the wedding, so therefore I know how long they've been married.
We are only going to be celebrating 5 years this year in August.
Wow.
5. But one of the things that we went into our marriage agreeing is that we were going into our marriage to enjoy life and to be honest and open with each other no matter what.
Right.
And I cannot express, like, I'm already an open, honest person. I don't sugarcoat nothing. Stop. I don't sugarcoat anything to a fault, because I am the worst liar in the world. I can't lie. We said we was going into our marriage being honest and with each other from the gate. And since I'm already that person, for him to be that way with me, I'm so happy that I have somebody that matches me on that level, because I am not one to, I can't sugarcoat anything. I can't lie. I don't lie. I don't want to lie. Yeah, so to have somebody who matches me on that level is unprecedented. And, you know, to see us, you would think, how long y'all been? Literally, our first year of marriage, we had married couples in church asking us how long we've been married.
Wow.
A few months. And they're like, for real? Y'all seem like y'all been married forever. I'm like, that's just because we get along and we understand each other and we talk about stuff and we you know, we don't let things fester. Lost in translation seems to be my new normal, so forgive me. I don't even know. So let's just move on. Thank you guys for tuning in today. We want to encourage you to go back and look at the very first video if you haven't already seen it. And tune in for our next video, where we will be talking about breaking stereotypes, women in male-dominated industries, and the evolution of beauty standards, real versus filtered. Now, this should be fun.
Oh.
This should be fun.
That's going to be fun.
Real versus filtered, because let's face it, everybody and their mama in today's age live for a good filter. I don't care how you slice it, dice it, or
I like a good filter.
Everybody loves a good filter. Some more natural than others, because I be seeing some like, you know, you don't look like that girl.
Ooh.
But that'll be on the next episode. So if you are interested in that, make sure you tune in for the next episode. Right. Awesome. So we want to thank our sponsor, Ascension Solutions, for this video today. And we want to thank our viewers, you guys, for tuning in. Make sure that you come back. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. And share with your friends, because they might need some playful banter and some crazy stories, or, you know, just to laugh at us like we laughing at ourselves. Thank you guys, and we will see you on the next episode of Real Talk Duo.